Thanks for joining me today on Level Up Hobbies. I'm Jason, and I build, paint, and play tabletop games. Now for today's video, I am painting up the Dark Angels Company Master, which I converted from the Indomitus Captain. So let's get painting. Enjoy. Okay, here is my converted Dark Angels Shield Captain from the Indomitus box. We're going to go ahead and begin painting him. Again, I've primed this model in Vallejo Black Surface Primer. And now I am going to give it an overall zenithal highlight with Wraithbone. Start adding some color to this this chapter master here, and I'm going to be using some Caliban green that I thinned down with some just airbrush thinner, and then I also added just a little bit of Dark Angels contrast color to it, just to deepen that color a bit. Now I'm going to give this green a little bit of a highlight, and for that I'm using a 2-to-1 mix of, move it over here, 2-to-1 mix of Warpstone Glow and Caliban green. Right now I'm going to go through and add some, excuse me, a little bit of shadow and definition between those armor panels. And for that I am just going to be doing a pin line with the Citadel Contrast Dark Angels green. This works really well for this, as it's really dark and it will settle down in there very, very easily. Adds a nice separation between the colors. Well, colors, the green panels. Okay, so again I'm going to take that mix of 2 parts Warpstone Glow and 1 part Caliban green, and I'm going to do a fine edge highlight across the all of the armor plating. Alright, I'm going to do a second highlight using straight warpstone glow, and this is going to be from just like the knees up, and not a full highlight, but just a slightly higher highlight, if you will. Next, we're going to add a third highlight, and for this I am adding just a little bit of moot green. Actually, I'm adding a little bit of warpstone glow to some moot green just to darken it down just a little bit, and this will be the extreme highlight. With this, I'm only touching areas that are really about from like the chest up, and I'm only gonna put like a small corner highlights like that. So nothing, no, like I did previously, like hard edge highlights. Now I'm going to start laying down some wraith bone on the tabard and the wings on his chest here. Okay, I'm now going to hit all of the parchment paper, the little purity seals that are hanging off of this guy. I'm going to hit that with some Citadel's Rakarth flesh, just to break up that cream color. There's just a little too much going on with that color, I think. And I think the Rakarth flesh will add a nice little variation from it. Okay, now I'm going to go over the little cloak, tabard, with, well, I'm going to go over that, and then the skeleton on the shield with some Citadel Skeleton Horde contrast paint. And this will give me a nice bone color to work with and start highlighting up. just working with the base wraithbone makes for some really good cream or bone white cloaks. It's a really, really good base for those. I'm going to start working back up that base color for the cloth with some more wraithbone base. Okay, we got that wraithbone built back up. Now we're going to add a highlight, and with that I'm just going to add some white into my wraithbone color. All right, I need to start highlighting up this skeleton. So for that, I am going to use some Citadel's Screaming Skull. And then from there, I'm going to add a little bit of white to that and do like a final highlight. Now I'm going to add a little bit of brown to this with some Citadel Wildwood contrast paint. For this I'm going to get like the leather portions, the belt, the holster for his pistol, and so on. Anything else I might find that needs to be brown. And I like this Wildwood. It's a very, very dark, deep brown. And it'll be a very nice addition to the green. It plays very well with the green color here for his armor. I'm now gonna go in and hit all the spots that I want white with some Citadel Corax White base paint. So this is going to be, I'm doing a whiter white, a cooler white than the robes and his chest emblem. So this is going to be for his shoulder symbol, and then also the feathers, the feathering on his helmet. At this time I'll also go in and get some white in the eye lenses and any other like small details that I might need to be either lighter or I need to base them white first. Go ahead and add some color to the eye lenses here. For that I'm using Flesh Terror's red contrast color. Right now over these white areas, like on the helmet and the pauldron there, we are going to use some Griff Charger gray contrast color. I'm just gonna paint that over the surface. I don't want it to be very dark, I just want to get those recesses. Okay, now I'm going to build that Corax white color back up on the feathers of the wings here. And for this, I'm just going to use a brush with a nice point, and I want to leave this color in the recesses. Now I'm going to do a final highlight on the white parts with some white scar. I'm going to try to keep this just up towards the ends of the... Alright, I'm going to start painting up some of the metallics on this guy. So for that I'm going to start off with some Warplock bronze. Okay, we're now going to layer up all of those bronze areas with some Citadel Canoptic alloy. Next I'm going to go through and add some silver bits using some lead belcher. I'm going to add some highlights to those silver bits with some Vallejo Game Color Silver. Okay, and finally we're going to add the gold. We're going to add a little bit of Citadel Retributor armor, because no Space Marine would be complete without a little bit of gold. I think on some models, using a lot of gold really works, but not all of them. Now I'm going to highlight that gold with a mixture of the Retributor armor and the Vallejo silver. Alright, I'm going to switch up the color a little bit. I'm now going to start adding a little bit of Warplock purple into this. And this is going to be for the purity seals and the his like rosary beads here. And actually, there's a, for this purity seal here, I need to coat it in some Corax white first. Alright, now over that Warplock purple, I'm going to paint some Citadel Shaiish purple contrast paint. Now I'm going to highlight up those purple spots there, or purple bits, with a mixture of Warplock purple and Corax white. Okay, I'm going to start painting up his sword. I want to add some shading and some highlights in this. But first what I'm going to do is take and I am going to paint the entire sword a mixture of lead belcher and Abaddon black, and just to darken up the metal here. And this will give me a really nice mid-tone to work with whenever I'm highlighting and adding shade. Alright, I'm going to start adding the shadows to this blade first. And for this, what I did is make a darker mixture of Abaddon black and lead belcher. And I'm just going to start glazing it into the areas that I want to darken up. So it's going to be like shadowed areas at the crest of this. Well, not at the crest, but coming up the crest of it. And then another one here. And then along the side of the blade. You can already see the difference. Here's just the dark lead belcher, and then with some shadow. Alright, I'm going to keep building this up. Okay, now I'm going to take, I worked up and I glazed in that darkened lead belcher, the extra darkened lead belcher, and I worked my way all the way up to straight Abaddon black, just little glazes at the darkest point. Now I'm going to glaze in some straight lead belcher, and I'm going to focus this on the opposite ends of where the shadows are. So I've got the shadow curving up, this part of the blade, so I'm going to put a highlight down towards this part of the blade. And I'm going to start it just over halfway and just pull it towards the highlight. Alright, we're going to continue building up that highlight, and so now I'm doing a roughly 50-50 mix of lead belcher and Vallejo Game Color Silver. Alright, now we're going to work in the straight Vallejo Silver. And so this is going to be an edge highlight. Okay, so that is true metallic metal. A little different than the non-metallic metal. With this one, as in its name, you are using metallics and then building up the illusion of hard shadows on the metallic surface. So you can do this obviously as a non-metallic metal where you would use non-metallic paints, so black and grays and white, or any color you could do a non-metallic in. But then the true metallics, you're actually using your silvers and your golds, and you're darkening and lightening those to emphasize those shadows and those highlights. All right, let me finish up this sword. All right, now I'm gonna paint up his tilting plate here. So I'm just gonna make up some type of heraldry for it, and for that I'm gonna block in a couple spaces. So I'm gonna use some Corax white to do that. Okay, I'm going to add some wraithbone to further block off some of this shield. Okay, I'm going to add some corn red to this tilting plate. Okay, now I'm just going to use some black. I'm using Vallejo Game Color black. You can use anything you want. But I'm going to add some checkers to this red section here. I'm gonna add a little bit of highlights to the red with some Cadian flesh tone. Okay, he is done. I mounted him on his base. I finished the tilting plate there. What else? Oh, I added a little bit of lettering to his pauldrons. On the right pauldron I put repent, and on the left pauldron I gave him his name. So I made this one Astoran, who is the current third company master. So he has passed through the Rubicon Primaris. This guy, he turned out very well. I am very happy with this model. This will be in my personal army. Most of my standard Marines, I made them all third company, so he will fit right in, and I'm excited to have him. Like, he is going to be a very nice addition to my army. Yeah, this was a fun model to paint. I love painting Dark Angels just in general, but this guy being a Primaris master, Primaris Dark Angels master, I don't know, it was just a lot of fun, a lot of cool details. And if you get a chance to paint this guy in any chapter, I would take it. It's a very, very nice model, very nice addition to any army. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you guys next time. Later. Thanks again for joining me here on Level Up Hobbies as I painted this Dark Angels Company Master. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you can be notified whenever I publish new videos. Thanks again, and remember, build, paint, and play tabletop games. Later.